The story begins in the heart of the Tarvax Confederacy, a proud and militaristic alien civilization that boasts some of the most intense and punishing military training programs in the galaxy. For generations, their warriors have trained in elite academies where survival is not guaranteed and weakness is eliminated through merciless trials. The crowning achievement of their training regime is known as the Gauntlet, a physical and psychological test so extreme that even elite Tarvax cadets often fail to complete it. But the Gauntlet is not just a gym class, it's a declaration of dominance. It was designed not merely as a test, but as a symbol to other civilizations that the Tarvax produce warriors capable of surviving the worst the galaxy has to offer. It includes terrain designed to crush bones, environments that mimic alien worlds' harshest atmospheres, and traps so deadly that even advanced cybernetic species tread carefully. This section of the story is important for establishing the galactic context of strength and reputation. The Gauntlet is more than a fitness course, it's a cultural statement. That makes the Tarvax extremely prideful and arrogant about it. They don't believe anyone can best their own standards of survival. And certainly not humans. Recently, stories and rumors about a species from the Deathworld known as Earth have begun to spread across the galaxy. Whispers of absurdly durable biology, rapid adaptability, and psychological tenacity have peaked the interest and concern of various galactic factions. The Tarvax, however, dismiss these stories as exaggerated to put the matter to rest and assert their superiority. The Tarvax Council invites a small delegation from Earth to attempt the Gauntlet, but their invitation is more like a challenge hidden behind diplomatic formality. In their minds, the humans will try, suffer, fail, and leave humbled. The invitation was a trap meant to humiliate them. Instead, Earth sends 6 volunteers from the United Terran Forces. No exosuits, no AI assistance, no augmentation. Just regular humans in standard issue gear. The humans arrive without fanfare. They're not genetically engineered super soldiers or technological marvels. They're just people. That's what terrifies the galaxy later. Among the team is Captain Alex Reeve, the calm and confident leader. Sergeant Rena Vasquez, a high-endurance expert with a reputation for outrunning hover tanks. Corporal Liu, a humor-loving survivalist. And Private Khan, a raw but determined new recruit. Their casual attitude immediately baffles and unsettles the watching crowd of aliens. While other species undergo hours of mental preparation and biostabilization before entering the Gauntlet, the human team casually stretches, jokes, and treats it like a team-building exercise. Captain Reeve and calls out to his team with a smirk, "All right, boys and girls, who's ready for recess?" This line is significant. It reveals the human mindset. Where others see terror, humans see challenge. And not the kind to run from, but the kind to enjoy. As the buzzer sounds and the Gauntlet begins, the alien audience watches in anticipation, not expecting survival, but entertainment. What they witness, however, stuns them to the core. The first section involves compressed tunnels with rapidly shifting gravity meant to suffocate, disorient, and exhaust competitors. Most species require enhanced gear to make it through the first 5 minutes. But the humans? They laugh. Sergeant Vasquez maintains a steady jog despite the environment trying to crush her from multiple directions. Corporal Liu whistles casually as he runs along the ceiling thanks to a gravity shift. Reeve cracks a joke about his old training grounds. On Europa, a moon with erratic gravity pockets, this moment is crucial because it defies all expectations. The course is doing what it was designed to do: strain physiology, disorient the mind, and induce panic. But the humans not only withstand it, they thrive. They enjoy it. The alien observers, including hardened Tarvax generals, begin to watch in silence, not out of respect, but confusion. The initial smugness fades. What they see unfolding is not a fluke, but something even more dangerous. Humans are adapting in real time. By ending part 1 with the humans clearing the first segments of the gauntlet. While grinning and barely winded, the story flips the script on the galaxy's expectations. The impossible gym class, the symbol of Tarvak's superiority, is starting to look like just another training day for the species they underestimated the most. Builds on the momentum of part 1 and dives deeper into the humans' shocking progress through the gauntlet. What was meant to be a relentless endurance trial is quickly turning into something the Tarvaks and the other galactic observers never expected: a display of human adaptability, teamwork, and psychological resilience. The gauntlet's second phase is designed specifically to punish overconfidence. After lulling cadets into believing they've got the hang of it, the course escalates its cruelty. Now come death traps, not just of physical danger, but of deceptive complexity. Most elite alien warriors slow down, begin second-guessing, or falter from sheer overexertion by this point. But the humans don't slow down. They pace themselves. This is a key theme of Part 2, humans as monsters of endurance. Where other species rely on brute strength, claws, or tech, humans show something else: the ability to keep going strategically and calmly, even when everything is trying to kill them. The next section of the gauntlet features high-temperature terrain. The floor becomes a series of thermic plates that rapidly flash heat to over 400 degrees Celsius. The Tarvaks themselves had specially designed foot armor to traverse this portion, and even then, it's a sprint or burn ordeal. But instead of panicking or activating any exotic tech, Private Khan drops into a combat roll across the hot plates. He grits his teeth, yells in pain, and then laughs. "Reminds me of the Mumbai sand drills," he says, grinning. This line is more than just bravado, it's history. Humanity has trained in volcanoes, deserts, war zones. Earth, a death world, forged them in conditions far worse than most of the gauntlet simulations. The moment is a chilling realization for the alien viewers. Humans didn't just survive hell, they trained in it. Meanwhile, Sergeant Vasquez and Captain Reeve improvise a leapfrog tactic to move across the tiles without sustaining serious injury. While the aliens design this course to be solved alone as a measure of individual toughness, the humans continue to rely on teamwork. Reeve throws Vasquez forward with practiced precision. She uses a shard of armor from a previous checkpoint as a heat shield, protecting the others as they leap behind her. It's fast, rough, and creative. This cooperative behavior baffles the Tarvak strategists. Their cadets are trained to compete with one another. Humans, they lift each other up. The next zone introduces vertical traversal walls slicked with liquid nitrogen coated in a non-stick molecular film. Most species can't even get a grip on it, let alone climb. The Tarvaks assumed this would be the point where even Deathworlders would fall. Instead, the humans stack themselves like a human pyramid, brute-forcing a climbing solution using their own bodies as ladders. "Stack formation?" Vasquez asks. "Let's end this," Reeve replies. Here, readers and viewers witness an instinctive human behavior that rarely shows up in alien species: improvisational cooperation under extreme stress. There is no hesitation, no ego, just problem-solving through grit and synergy. At this point, the observing alien audience, once smug and dismissive, begins to worry. The alien commentators go from condescending to stunned. The course hasn't been defeated yet, but the humans aren't just surviving anymore, they're outperforming everyone who came before them. Alien commanders begin whispering in private, they're adapting too fast. They're enjoying it. Are we ... the ones being tested? This shift in perspective is crucial. The gauntlet was built to showcase Tarvak's superiority, but now it's become a window into something terrifying: human potential when pushed against limits. Not only are the humans enduring, they're learning solving problems as a species rather than as individuals. Even more unsettling to the watchers is the humans' emotional state, where most cadets show exhaustion, panic, or fear. By this point, the Terran squad still jokes and teases one another. They're hurt, they're bleeding, but they're smiling. Corporal Liu even whistles while balancing on a ledge that would have sent most species plummeting into a pit of electrified spikes. This sends a dangerous message across the galaxy. The Deathworlders aren't just tough. They're insane enough to enjoy the struggle. As Part 2 concludes, the humans cross into the 7th checkpoint, where mental strain replaces physical torture. Up to now, it's been a test of body and coordination. But soon, it'll challenge their minds, fears, and emotions. The tone of the story begins to shift significantly, not just in terms of pacing, but in what's at stake. The aliens who built the gauntlet are no longer watching to see if the humans will fail. Now they're watching in disbelief to see how far they'll go, and what happens next shakes them to their core. Checkpoint 7 introduces the mental warfare portion of the gauntlet. Unlike the physically brutal sections before, this zone uses neural disruptors and hallucinogenic frequencies to attack the mind directly. It's been calibrated over generations to exploit the deepest fears of any sentient being, amplifying traumas, memories, and phobias to mentally cripple the participants. For most species, this segment is the breaking point. Hardened Tarvaks. Veterans have collapsed here, weeping and screaming in the dark. The gauntlet's creators designed it not just to push, but to fracture even the strongest wills. But the humans? They walk in and keep walking. The walls of the corridor begin to pulse with strange, flickering lights. Gas seeps from vents, altering perception. Sound becomes distorted, and shadowy figures appear in the corners of their vision. To alien observers, this section is where reality dissolves. They expect the human team to panic, lash out, or break down into tears, but they don single quotes T. Instead, Private Khan is the first to speak. He pauses briefly, breathing heavily, clearly seeing something painful, likely a manifestation of his worst memories. But then he mutters to himself, "Not real." And he moves on. This moment is key. Khan acknowledges the fear but doesn't let it own him. It's not about superhuman resistance, it's about recognizing illusion and moving forward. That's the kind of psychological training humans receive. They've been taught to compartmentalize fear, ground themselves, and carry on. Next is Captain Reeve, who stops for just a moment and whispers something under his breath. Later, when asked about it, he simply says, "Marine mantra. We trained blindfolded, underwater, in pitch-black caves. The silence is where I focus." This line reinforces a recurring theme. Humans don't just survive in chaos, they train for it. The sensory deprivation, the hallucinations, the anxiety-inducing design? That's Tuesday for someone who's done survival drills in Antarctica, or orbital free-fall training in a malfunctioning simulator. The alien observers watching this section begin to panic not because the humans are overcoming it, but because they are unfazed. Tarvak's generals exchange looks of concern. Other alien species in the viewing chamber lean in, wide-eyed, some visibly sweating. A Zorlak analyst whispers what others are afraid to say out loud. They're immune to fear. But that's the wrong conclusion. The truth is worse. The humans do feel fear, but they've learned to run with it, to carry it like weight on their backs. Fear doesn't stop them, it sharpens them. Checkpoint 8 turns up the heat, literally. The environment becomes filled with cryogas, dropping the temperature to sub-zero levels within seconds. This is meant to slow movement, numb limbs, and trigger hypothermic shock. Even heavily armored Tarvacs have abandoned the course here. Corporal Liu's fingers begin to freeze almost immediately. His skin turns white-blue, joints stiffening, and yet he just laughs. Frostbite drills, week 5, baby. It's absurd and terrifying, not because it's a joke, but because he means it. The humans treat this ordeal not as torment, but as training. Even as Liu's body fails him, his attitude doesn't, and attitude is everything in a trial like this. Sergeant. Vasquez then smashes a side panel with her elbow. The aliens gasp there's a heating node behind it, an emergency backup system. She reroutes the energy to briefly warm the corridor, giving her squad just enough time to press forward. Here's what matters. No other species had ever thought to do that. The gauntlet was designed to be endured, not outsmarted. Humans break that rule effortlessly. The course designers intended this checkpoint to drain all energy, isolate participants in the cold, and make them collapse in despair. Instead, they watch 6 humans use it as just another puzzle to solve. Checkpoint 9 is next. Total sensory deprivation. This section seals off light, sound, temperature, and even spatial orientation. Gravity flickers. Balance disintegrates. Most participants emerge vomiting or screaming. If they emerge at all, Captain. Reeves stands perfectly still in the center of the void. No panic. No motion. He focuses inward, breathing slow and deep. Reeve doesn't fight the darkness, he accepts it. He finds stillness inside the chaos. The aliens watching are in awe. They're not immune, whispers one Tarvac scientist. Then what? Are they? Someone else asks. The answer is beginning to form. They're Deathworlders, but more than that, they're relentless. Adaptive. Composed. As Part 3 ends, the humans emerge from the dark, cold, hallucinogenic nightmare of checkpoints. 7 through 9, bloody, bruised, shivering, but standing, is the climax of the human team's journey through the gauntlet, and it represents a pivotal shift, not just in how the humans are perceived, but in how the entire galaxy views strength itself. By this point, the human squad has accomplished the impossible. They've endured the physically brutal opening, conquered the mid-course traps through adaptability and teamwork. And now, after surviving mind-breaking hallucinations, freezing environments, and sensory deprivation, they arrive at the final challenge, Checkpoint 10, known only as the Wall. The Wall isn't just an obstacle, it's a statement. Constructed from a jet-black obsidian-like substance, it rises 12 meters high and is molecularly smooth, immune to grip or puncture. No creature has climbed it. Anti-gravity doesn't work near it. Flight is disabled. The Tarvacs designed it to be the psychological capstone of the course, a seemingly impossible barrier, meant to prove that some limits cannot be surpassed. But the Deathworlders? They don't believe in impossible. The human team pauses at the base of the monolithic structure. For the first time, there's no mechanical trick, no heat vents to manipulate, no cryogas to neutralize. Just a towering wall meant to break. The Spirit. Sergeant Vasquez is the first to speak, studying the surface with narrowed eyes. Stack formation? Captain Reeve nods. Let's end this. With a shared look, they move into position, improvising once again, just as they've done all along. Corporal Liu crouches first, forming a platform with his back. Private Khan climbs him, then Reeve lifts Vasquez higher. Together, they create a human ladder, literally building their own staircase from each other. The alien observers watching through the live feed freeze. What are they doing? They're stacking. That's undignified. That's improvisation. Here, the story highlights a core human trait, pragmatism over pride. In the Tarvax worldview, physical power and solo triumph define a warrior. But humans, especially military-trained ones, value results. If it means crawling over one another to succeed, so be it. There is no ego, only execution. Vasquez reaches the top with some effort. She's bruised, her knuckles bleeding, her armor cracked. But she pulls herself up, panting and laughing. Then she turns to the closest camera and flips it off. The alien command room gasps in collective shock. Did she just? Yes, she just did that. It's a moment of defiance and victory. She doesn't just climb the wall, she mocks it. The humans are no longer just surviving the course. They're dominating it. Meanwhile, back down below, the others begin climbing the makeshift human tower. They work in perfect coordination, switching positions to maintain balance, even using belts and gear to lock themselves into temporary formations. It's rough, it's messy, but it works. They all make it over. All 6. No casualties, no gear enhancements, no psychic shields, no alien tech. Just teamwork, grit, and stubborn human will. As they approach the finish line, the auto timers kick in and stamp their completion time: 2 hours, 17 minutes, 42 seconds. The screen flashes new record. But that doesn't fully convey what just happened. You see, no species had ever finished the gauntlet without collapsing, being pulled out, or ending up in medical stasis. The best time was from a cybernetically enhanced Revex mercenary who limped across the final checkpoint in just under 4 hours, hooked up to a drug pump and EXO-rig. The humans didn't just beat the record, they destroyed it. The alien dignitaries gathered to witness. The human humbling are speechless. What was meant to humiliate Earth has become a moment of historical significance, one that redefines the very concept of elite physical trial in the galaxy. And then comes the final nail in the coffin. Captain Reeve turns toward the broadcasting camera as the squad crosses the finish line. He's muddy, scraped up, and sweaty, but he's still smirking. You guys should have made it harder. That line becomes a legend. Within hours, it's trending on every major network in the known sectors. Memes spread like wildfire. Recruitment. Videos are cut together using his words. You guys should have made it harder becomes a symbol of Deathworlder defiance. The Tarvax military shuts down. The gauntlet the next day. Officially, it's for structural review and safety evaluations. Is where the story moves from climax to consequence. It's no longer about whether humans can survive the Nightmare Gym, class known as the Gauntlet. They've already proven they can. Now it's about what that means for the galaxy at large. The footage of the Terran squad bloody, grinning, victorious circulates across hundreds of alien systems within hours. Every second of their run through the gauntlet is watched, dissected, and discussed. The clip of Captain Reeve saying, "You guys should have made it harder," becomes an interstellar meme. Played over and over on military broadcasts, political talk shows, and underground message networks alike. But beyond the humor and shock, something much more serious begins to take root. The galaxy is forced to confront a reality it had long avoided. Humanity isn't just another new species. They are a threat, a challenge, a paradigm shift. What unsettles the other species isn't just the humans' physical performance, it's how casually they achieved it. They weren't genetically enhanced. They weren't using advanced exosuits or alien tech. They were operating with nothing but human biology, training, and each other. And that last part, their teamwork, echoes deeply. The Tarvax Confederacy, once proud of their competitive and brutal training ethos, begins to reevaluate its doctrine. In their culture, strength was defined as individual dominance, but humans have flipped the script. They didn't beat the gauntlet by being stronger alone, they did it by trusting each other without hesitation. Other species begin to see this as well. On the jungle world of Krentar, the amphibious Yalari start rewriting their soldier training manuals to include multi-unit coordination. The crystalline Kiver, long believed to be emotionally cold, begin cross-species dialogue on incorporating psychological resilience into warrior culture. The ripple effect has begun. Meanwhile, Earth doesn't waste the opportunity. A month later, Captain Reeve and his squad are invited to the prestigious Intergalactic War College on Vayari Prime, not as students, but as guest instructors. What was meant to be a humiliation has turned into a recruitment victory. The humans introduce a new course, titled Adaptive Combat in Unwinnable Environments. Unofficially, cadets begin calling it Recess with Reeve. The name sticks. In their first lecture, Sergeant Vasquez addresses a room full of alien elite cadets, some of them survivors of their own attempts at the gauntlet. She doesn't begin with science or tactics. She begins with truth. You called us Deathworlders. Like it was an insult, but you forget what that means. It means we train in jungles that breathe poison. It means we hike volcanoes for fun. It means our oceans drown continents and our skies spit lightning on a schedule. We don't run despite pain. We run with it. The room is silent. You built a course to break us. We saw it as exercise. You thought it was a nightmare. We called it gym class. This section of the story is critical because it doesn't just explain what humans did, it defines why they did it and what it reveals about humanity itself. It's not arrogance, it's perspective. Earth's environment has forced humanity to adapt, overcome, and thrive in chaos for generations. And that spirit carries into everything they do, including war. Her words are more than just a speech. They are a declaration to the galaxy. Humans are not strong because they are lucky. They are strong because they are familiar with struggle. What truly cements this message is the emotional reaction from the alien cadets. Some lower their heads, others nod slowly, and a few, especially from species once considered elite, asked to train with the humans, not against them. Even the Tarvacs. High Council, once the proud gatekeepers of the gauntlet, send an emissary with a formal statement.